Children, from today onwards in our tutorial we are going to start about the new chapter, that is chapter 5th, data file handling, which deals about the various types of data files being processed in Python, and the information which can be contained in a specific file and all regarding data files. When we hear or we monitor the word data file or the word file, it gives a message to us that it's basically a named place on a disk where a sort of information is recorded, and relevant kind of information or data is stored there. Secondly, the information is all logically related with each other, and a specific category of information is stored in one type of file, and we categorize them sometimes documents or document.doc, .ppt or .xml. These are some specific varieties we have mentioned here. Similarly, we have some data files which are being processed by the Python interpreter. Then next we need to be very honest about saying that whichsoever the type of file or whichsoever the format of file is, this is human readable content. Means it may be stored in the file in the computer's memory as bytes, but for the human beings it is very simple and readable, completely readable. And when we talk about Python, the files can be binary files or text files. So the text files may contain ASCII codes or Unicodes, which are the representations of human readable information. Similarly, there is another category, binary format, which store the readable format, the human readable format, directly into the processor's requirement format, that is binary format, which is even the format being maintained for storing in memory. So let's start with the text file, the first category of data files. This is the by default category, and in this, the again repeating the same thing, that the information will be human readable information. We will be providing the information, we will be retaining the information, so it should be human readable. But how it is stored, that we need to understand. So first thing about text file is the contents of text files for the Python interpreter. They are ASCII codes, and we can consider them as sequence of lines which terminates with EOL character. Now this is a end of line special character which represents the termination of a specific line. In Python we have gone through strings, where every string is a constant and it ends with a /n, that means new line character. So we can consider text file as the containers of Unicode strings also. By default, the delimiter in any text file is /n, that is the new line character, or it may be a combination of /r/n, where /r refers to carriage return, because both means same. So if these are there in the text file, there will be some internal translations which will occur there in the text file, because the processor, before using the contents of the file which is supported there, needs to be converted to binary format, because the processor supports only binary format. Next thing about the data files is the second category, that is binary file. In binary file, data is already stored in raw binary sequence of bytes. That means the binary files, they do not allow storage of information in any uh, other format than binary one. So there are no delimiters available here. Delimiter refers to a special symbol which terminates a line or a file, like end of file character. Similarly, there will not be any kind of internal translation from one format to another because the information is already in binary format. And at the last, these are processed faster in comparison to text file because the contents are in binary format. Let's move ahead about the data files. The properties about data files is how to use them. Well, as usual in a Python program, like we had been creating objects for the variables and assigning the references of the objects to the variables to use them. Similarly, we will be having file objects here, and the reference of a specific file will be assigned to an file object, and that file object will be used then for operating the files. The file object is also known as file handle. Like a normal object, as we had been using, as I specified, that will link the data file to the object, or we can also say the reference of the file will be assigned to the object by using the open function. It is also said that open function creates the object. Then there are some syntaxes, there are varieties of using open function. Is basically the open function needs the path of the file and the mode in which the file has to be open. Secondly, we may specify the name of the file also in the open function, and the file mode. The differences between two syntaxes is that if we directly specify the file name, and it must be either in the same directory or it will be created in the same directory. If we are specifying the path of the file, then the file which is to be used, that will be accessed from the specified path. Now what will happen after using these syntaxes? The open function will create an object named as FOB, and the reference of specified file will be assigned to the file object, the file handle. Let's move ahead again about data file and the way of using them. Any file attached with a file object is processed using it. The file can be used only with the help of object. Secondly, the flow of processing for any file, it is data file, here might be text file, might be binary file, there are also files. So the flow of processing such kind of files are as usual as we do in practical life. Like how is that? We first need to create the file, then secondly, if we have created, we can open it. Now to open the file, we'll use open function. Then next is we'll process this. If the file is not there, we need to create it and then we'll process it. Processing means if it has been created, we can write into information can be written. Secondly, the data can be read from, and it can be modified also. And even if the file exists, new contents can be added by as appended. We can say appended into, that means the new data or informations can be added into. So these are basic thing, and before we complete our task this is very important that we must close the data file. So these are the steps we need to take care while processing or using the data file. This is all for today. Thank you.